Terry Rozier, you are a member of the Miami Heat. Pat Riley finally woke up from his slumber and made a trade for someone that is not a free agent to be for the first time in 3 years. The Heat are sending Kyle Lowry and a 2027 first-round pick. We'll talk more in depth about that in a second. To the Charlotte Hornets for Scary Terry, but the Heat finally move off Kyle Lowry, use his expiring contract to upgrade that guard spot, which we know is desperately needed in this 4-game stretch where Miami have lost 3 of 4 and struggled offensively. Hopefully those offensive struggles are no more with Scary Terry. Shams Charania had the breaking news. He had Miami's nearing a trade to acquire Charlotte's Terry Rozier for a package sending Lowry and draft comp, including a first-round pick. That draft compensation is a 2027 lottery-protected first-round pick. We expect, or at least hope, that Miami will not be picking in the lottery in 2027. So that should be conveyed, but on the off chance Miami is picking inside the top 14 in 2027, that pick will become unprotected first-round pick in 2028. But this is why you subscribe to the channel. We cover breaking Miami Heat news, and we will go live. We are doing this segment live right now on the Heat Report. If you couldn't join us, it's a shame. But if you're a new viewer, hit that sub button so you can stay up to date when we go live again. We'll be live for the next 2 days, by the way. Wednesday against the Grizzlies for a watch party. Thursday against the Celtics, which, by the way, I think Thursday is going to be the day Terry Rozier makes his Heat debut. So hit that sub button. We also called this. Called it. Yes, we did call this. We said yesterday the video that Kyle Lowry trade happening soon, and look, he's off the team. I did want to just show you this full trade in full here. This is Kyle Lowry. I wanted to get your full graphics so you guys could see instead of me just talking to you. But listen, I like the deal. You're upgrading at point guard. Your backcourt is now Kyle Lowry and Terry Rozier, or excuse me, Tyler Herro and Terry Rozier. And I know people are going to have concerns about the defense, which we'll get to in just a bit. But I do like the upgrade. Rozier is averaging 23 a night this year. He can break down opponents. He has been fantastic this year for Charlotte, career year. He also has playoff experience with Boston, and I really think he's going to benefit from being a member of the Miami Heat. He's a D-Wade disciple. He loved Dwayne Wade, one of his favorite players of all time, if not his favorite. I think that might be the reason why he wears number 3, by the way. So a little fun tidbit right there. But I mentioned the first-round pick conveying in 2028. Adrian Wojnarowski had that news, and the reason why I do want to have this little thought quickly here. The trade deadline is February 8th. I don't think the Miami Heat are done, by the way. I think the Heat could make another trade for a member of the front court. But I like that the Heat didn't wait till the deadline. They struck. They knew they needed to move off Kyle Lowry. They knew they needed to help this Heat team on the offense side of the ball. They did not hesitate, and they got a deal done now rather than waiting for February 8th. I did want to add this, too, because there is some tidbits and some financial pieces of this that I think we needed to make note. Yassi says, significant upgrade at point guard in Terry Rozier while reducing the luxury tax payment by $15.2 million. They save a total of $21.7 million between their payroll and tax penalty. They have also generated a $6.5 million trade exception. Now, those numbers are for this year. The money aspect of things become a little interesting in the offseason and next year. But at least for this season, they saved Mickey Harrison money. We know he likes that. He also said that the Heat opened up a $6.3 million trade exception, and they're $6.3 million below the second apron, opening up the $5 million taxpayer mid-level. It could be used to pursue a buyout player, but they still can't sign players making $12.5 million or more. They need to get below the first apron to do that, which they're $4.2 million above. So you mentioned that. I think there's a trade that could possibly happen to shed salary to help them in the buyout market. I really do think that. Like, if they traded Thomas Bryant right now and lost his salary, and then potentially Gordon Hayward became available on the buyout market, that's something that is very interesting as well. Bobby Mark coming in with some more financial help as well. He said they talked about the Heat Rozier on NBA Today on Monday. Helps the Heat roster now, but Miami now has to dance around the second apron next year. $184 million in projected salaries, which kind of limits the ability to re-sign Caleb Martin in the offseason, which we'll talk about in just a bit. But I do want to get your one-word reaction to the Terry Rozier trade. When that notification hit, when you finally saw the news, what was your one-word reaction for me down in the comment section? Mine was finally. Reason why it was finally is because the Heat needed someone like Rozier as bad as humanly possible. He was averaging 23 a night for Charlotte in 30 games played. Hopefully he could bring that over to the 305. 46% from the field, 35.8% from three. That number dipped a little bit, if we're going to be honest. Rozier was shooting closer to 37, 38% just a couple weeks ago, but he's had a little of a cold stretch as well. But what Rozier will bring to the table is the ability to break down opponents on the perimeter, right? He'll be able to get by his man one-on-one using his athleticism. He also can collapse defenses when he gets into the paint and kick it out to open three-point shooters. Another reason why I love Terry Rozier is because, well, he's able to get to the rim and finish, which will Miami Heat, one of the worst teams in the NBA at finishing around the rim. As bad as that is with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, yes, it's true. Tyler Herro's also struggled with his finishing. I think it's a near-perfect move, though. Why is it not perfect? Well, because I think that DeJounte Murray is still a better fit for the Miami Heat. But I'll say it's near perfect because you had to give up way less assets, and it provides you more financial flexibility because DeJounte Murray is getting paid more than Terry Rozier over the next 3 seasons when that extension kicks in. Rozier provides almost the same amount of offensive potential and spacing for Miami. It's just a little bit on the defensive end that it limits him, which we'll talk more about the defensive side in a bit. But I do want to get to Kyle Lowry being no longer a member of the Miami Heat. I'd like to say thank you to Kyle because, well, over the 2.5 seasons he was with the Miami Heat, in 2 full seasons, they made the conference finals in a Game 7 and made the NBA Finals. So although Kyle Lowry's 3-year, $30 million deal didn't really go that well for the Heat in terms of winning a title and his personal stats, the Heat's team did just have a lot of success. And these numbers are unacceptable from your point guard, right? He's 37. He's old. He can't defend at the point of attack anymore. He can't break down defenders. And the only time he was shooting the ball is when he was catching it in 5 on the shot clock and had to put up a 3. So you're getting a very much more dynamic scorer in Terry Rozier. And I'm just happy I don't have to watch Kyle Lowry anymore, man. I could not take it. Those weak-ass takes to the rim, those lob passes from half court that were just thrown as a hospital ball. They were so frustrating. It's good to have Terry Rozier in the 305. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Want to give a second little update to that. Make sure you hit that sub button. We're live for Rozier's debut, likely occurring on Thursday, so against the Boston Celtics. So make sure you join us there for that watch party. I'll be very excited for that. We're also going to be live tomorrow against the Grizzlies, so hit that sub button. But I do want to talk about the defensive addition to Terry Rozier, because I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Rozier is a pretty undersized guard as well, undersized like Kyle Lowry. So is the defense going to struggle? Here's the thing, though. It can't be worse. It literally cannot be worse than the Lowry-Herro backcourt defensively. Herro's been an improved defender, but he's still not good. What Kyle Lowry was unable to do for the Miami Heat was defend anything unless it was a rotation over to draw a charge. Rozier averages 1.1 steals a game. He's athletic. He reads defenses. He can jump in the passing lane and get out in transition and score. Kyle Lowry wasn't giving you that. And another reason why, and I know this is not really defense that I wanted to talk about, but Rozier is athletic. Like, he will put pressure onto the rim. He'll put the Heat out in transition after a miss, after a make. He'll get the ball up the court quickly. Rozier is a great addition to this Heat team, and I am just happy that the Heat finally made addition to the front or the backcourt because, boy, oh boy, was it absolutely necessary. And like I mentioned, I know people are going to say that the Heat's defense is not going to be good with Rozier and Herro in the backcourt. But I want to double down with the take that it cannot be worse than Kyle Lowry and Tyler Herro. It cannot be worse. Whatever that was, that's as bad as it's going to get. Rozier is not going to be worse than Kyle Lowry. I'm also not going to defer away and be naive here and say that the Heat have no backcourt issues defensively, because they do still have issues on that defensive side of the basketball. But the offense is going to at least be able to score 100 points again, which they have been unable to do so over the last 4 games. That is for sure. That is for sure. And when you look at the now top 4 guys on the Miami Heat, they all average over 20 points a game. How about that, right? Rozier, Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler, and Bam, they all average over 20. Rozier becomes your leading assist man, which is kind of crazy to think about. But you're you're getting 4 dynamic scorers of the basketball. Your top 4 guys all average over 20 points a game. Jimmy obviously doesn't take things too seriously in the regular season, averaging 21 a night. But Bam, 21.5. Herro's been averaging 22.4. Rozier is now your leading scorer technically at 23.2 and leading assist man. I just think these 4 guys fit so well offensively because you have Rozier's ability to hit the catch and shoot 3. You have Rozier's ability to break down the opponents and isolation defenses and get to the rim. And Rozier is also the number 2 player in terms of efficiency in the pick and roll offensively. So that Bam Adebayo, Terry Rozier pick and roll will be very, very good for Miami when it gets down to 5, 6, 7 seconds on the shot clock. You throw it to Terry. You bring Bam over for a screen. And you can generate offense late in the shot clock in terms of something you haven't been able to do. Because lately, when it comes late to the shot clock, you relied on one of those 3 guys on the right side of your screen to just throw up a shot and bail you out. Now you have a legit play and offense you can run to generate open looks for your team at the end of the shot clock, which will only help you offensively. We asked you for your one-word reaction to the trade a little bit earlier. Now I want you to grade the trade. Remember, it was Terry Rozier coming to Miami for Kyle Lowry and a 2027 first-round pick. Grade the trade for me, A, B, C, D, and or F, which I don't think anybody should be typing F. One last time, make sure you hit that sub button because we're still going to have you covered to up to date that Miami Heat trade deadline on February 8th. I also don't think that the Heat are done making a deal, which we'll talk more in depth over the channel the last couple days, but I think Caleb Martin could be traded for a person in the front court. They also have trade exceptions. They also have second-round picks. They also have more picks to trade if they elected to, and they didn't want to hoard them for the future. So hit that sub button because I don't think the rumors are going to slow down for your Miami Heat. Also join us live for a couple watch parties coming up over the next couple days.